Hi, I'm Luke Conway, one of the pastors here at Lakewood, and I wanted to share a word with you, just a brief word about what the staff has been doing this last week and what we have planned coming up, and I want to also give you some words of encouragement. First, everyone knows that we're worshiping by live streaming on Sunday morning. We, along with other churches, have closed the building for worship on Sunday morning, but I want to remind you that we are offering 2 opportunities on Sunday morning, 9 and 11, which is our regular worship hour. So I encourage you, invite you that on Sunday morning, you can stick to your routine. If you worship at 9 o'clock, I hope that you and your family will gather together and watch the service and receive God's Word at that time, 9 or 11 o'clock. I know it's not the same as being here, being together. We look forward to being back together in worship. But worship isn't something that only happens with bands and music and lights and background sets. Worship can happen anywhere you are, and I hope that you'll worship God with us together, with others from Lakewood, all together on Sunday morning. So we look forward to that this coming Sunday, 9 and 11. Some of you have asked about your children, and our children's ministers, Jill and Rochelle, are working very hard to stay in contact with you. They have produced resources that some of you have already come by and picked up to spend time at home, sharing encouraging words with your children, spending time with them. And look at that as an opportunity. Think about this. We have children's pastors here at the church, but you'll be partnering with them to be your child's children's pastor. And so spend time with them and share those resources. Stay in touch with Jill and Rochelle, and they will continue to help you lead your children through this time. What about Sunday school? We are working on a small group ministry where you can receive resources and help to connect with your group and your class, and we're working on that right now. Other groups within the church, we are working very hard to keep those groups connected through social media, email, Zoom meetings, and we're going to help you to do that. The staff is working very hard. We're finding group leaders who will lead other groups and stay in touch with them and connect to them. And as always, please contact one of the pastors if you need to speak to us or get a message to us. We want you to know that we're here for you. The staff is still working. We want you to continue to support the church with your prayers and your attention and volunteering, and also with your gifts. We know that some of you give when you're physically here at the church, and if we don't have worship here for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks, we want you to continue to honor God with your gifts. And so there's on our website, you can easily see how to give online. And of course, the post office still works. You can mail a gift here. But we want you to pray and continue to support us as we work together through this time. That's going to be very important. The Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Timothy, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear or timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline." Take that message to heart. I love those words. That God is with us. The Spirit is with us. God's Spirit helps Jesus' followers, even in the darkest times. In fact, when times are toughest, that is when we see people's character. We see people rising up to serve. This whole situation has given great opportunity for the church to be the church, for the church to serve. Someone has said this is some of the darkest times in our nation. We're here at Lakewood, we're called to expand the light, to be the light of the world. And we have that opportunity now. And I know that Lakewood is going to do that, and people of faith are going to continue to serve and to give and to share. Help in any way you can. And the staff is working very hard to serve you and to equip you to serve others. And that's going to be very important in the coming weeks. Volunteer any way you can. Here's the old familiar parable of the Last Judgment from Jesus. Hear this, and I'll share a closing word or two. Jesus said he would separate people as a shepherd separates the sheep and the goats. To the sheep he said, "Come, you who are blessed of my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom that's prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." And then he goes on to say, then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry or feed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger, invite you in, and that you needed clothes and we clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and we visited you? And the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me. Jesus' followers are known for caring for the least of these, those who are vulnerable, hungry, sick, no family, those who are strangers. In this current situation, we have people who are sick or who are most vulnerable, who are imprisoned in their homes. And we want to be helpful. We want to serve and give and continue to pray for them. In the book, Water from a Deep Well, the author describes how Christians responded during the great plagues during the Roman Empire, during 165 to 250 AD. And the scholars estimated that 1/4 of the population died during those plagues. That's 25%. And at the height of the second epidemic, thousands were dying every day in Rome. And while the plagues affected everyone, Christians and pagans, those two groups responded differently. The pagans refused to touch the dying bodies. The Christians would bathe them and bury them. Pagans avoided the sick, even their own families. Christians nursed and cared for them, and often at the cost of their own health. And ironically, despite their willingness to risk their lives, Christians survived the plagues at a higher rate than the pagans did. And more importantly, their witness was so powerful that many of the pagans looked to the Christians and said, my, how they truly love and care for one another. And it brought many of them into the faith. So this crisis is an opportunity for the church to be the church, not just practice church on Sundays, but to truly be the church in the world. There's never been an opportunity for us to spend day in and day out in our community, connecting to people, sharing resources, helping. I want to ask you to think about people that need help. Do they need a visit? Do they need a phone call or an email? Do they need somebody to run an errand for them, to run to the store for them and help them? We want to help those who need help. Let us know if you know of someone in that circumstance. And the staff is here to serve and to do the ministry that we're called to do. And so let's see this crisis as an opportunity to be who God called us to be. For we are called for such a time as this. And we are here at this time. And I know we can do our part. In closing, I'll leave you the words of Jesus. John 14, he said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Don't let them be afraid. So Jesus promised his peace. His peace will sustain us through all circumstances. So we don't have to be afraid. We'll trust him and we'll experience his peace. I'll see you Sunday morning at 9 or 11 as we live stream the services. Remember, we're together in this journey, expanding the light.